Hello and welcome to this video presentation. My name is Paul Brett. I am a Senior Software Support Analyst supporting the Transformation Extender product from IBM. The topic for this video is ITX profiling and optimization tools. Feel free to reach out to me on popular social media channels at Paul Brett IBM. In this practical demonstration, I demonstrate running through the DTXPROF and DTXPAGE utilities on Windows and skim through the relevant outputs to give a brief outline of the intended purpose of those utilities. We shall start this demonstration in the ITX 10.1.2 Design Studio. As you can see, I have one project called Map Profiling. Within the project I have one map source file called setup.mmc. In this map source file I have a setup1 which I use to create 500 iterations of some random data in an XML script, and also 500 numbers in a second list which I'm going to use in my real map, which is test1. In test1 I load the XML, I load the list of numbers, and then on the output side I drop to a functional map extracting the XML record where the ID equals the ID from the list of numbers. So this is a really poorly written map because the numbers are not sorted, the XML is not sorted, and it's going to show really poor performance. So let's run the setup map first. Here is my directory where we can see the files that are created currently. I'm going to delete the input file that's there from a previous run and the log file from a previous run, and now I'm going to run the setup map. The map has completed successfully, and as you can see I now have an input XML file as well as a QTY500 TXT file with my list of numbers to extract. Running the second map now. That's completed successfully. It was fairly quick. If we have a look at the log file, we can see that the map ran in 0.3871 seconds, and it's created an output file here which contains all of the XML just rendered as a comma-separated values file. That's all interesting, but now let's go for the map profiling. In this command prompt window, I've set the path variable so that my ITX 10.1.2 installation is in the path, and I can run my profile script with all the options turned on, F, T, FS and TS. I'm going to generate a file called Report.txt, running the map test1.mmc and closing the window when it's finished. As you can see, running the report actually takes significantly longer than running the map itself, but it is now finished. If I go into my directory, you will see I have a file called Report.txt, and if I open that, here we have the map profiler report. I'm going to jump to the bottom and show you that this report has 1,014,060 lines, quite a lot of output. It starts with an indication of the version that you used. It tells you the map that was profiled, how many entries were found, and then we start to see iterations and time columns for various parts of the map. Now this does go on for quite a bit, and I can't go too much into how to read a profiling report, but what I will do is jump to the very end and I'm going to look at this function summary. Now what we're looking for is a small number of iterations that takes a relatively large amount of time. So for example, building the output card here takes a lot of time, but that's only once. There's one iteration of that. However, if we look at the extract function, that's most of the time that it's spent building the card, so this is a subset of that number. 500 times the extract was called, which is relatively low compared to the number of iterations of type name, for example, and yet it seemed to spend most of its time. So we can see from this table that it's the extract function that is the most expensive one here, and that's the one we would need to maybe get rid of, redesign our map not to use extract, and perhaps maybe use lookup or look down instead, which would require the data to be sorted first, and then we would see better performance. Moving on to the DTXPAGE next. With the DTXPAGE utility, all I have to do is give it the map name. It runs the map several times, trying different iterations of page size and page count, and then it gives you a recommendation at the end, and it's telling me here that the page size of 64 and a page count of 16 is most optimal. However, it is worth bearing in mind that we need to run this several times over different size inputs, representing the average, the minimum and the maximum we are likely to see, and then maybe take a business best guess on the actual size and count that we should use to cover the best sequence of files that we might get in. So there we are. That's a brief overview of how to do map profiling using the DTXPAGE and the DTXPROF utilities. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my video presentation today. If you found the content interesting and informative, hit that like button. Perhaps leave me a comment. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, as I release content such as this on a regular basis. Feel free to reach out to me on popular social media channels at Paul Brett IBM. Thank you.